Applying theoretical knowledge into the practical scenario is always difficult for the first time. So in this video, I'll be discussing the things, the survey procedure or survey step you should take before you start actual GPR survey. So if you're reaching the start area, a few things you should do to complete the GPR survey in that area successfully. So I will discuss that with from my experience and with some real example. So stay tuned till the end. Okay. So at this point, I'm assuming that you have basic knowledge about the electrical and magnetic theory or magnetic properties of matter. You have basic knowledge about EM theory, and you have also basic knowledge about the GPR, means GPR's principal equipments. I have made a video about this. Okay, so I'll share the link in the description also. So let's start. What to do on the very first day on your GPR survey. So whatever I'll be discussing from my experience. These are the steps I generally take when I am surveying a virgin area. Okay, so whatever I'll be discussing, I will not be discussing the utility part. It's very easy. I will not be discussing this. I'll be only discussing the geological exploration part. Okay, so very first step, and I'm assuming you have 200 megahertz antenna, also plus you have 10 to 80 megahertz antenna. Okay, now let's start the main discussion. First step you will be doing is the random survey. What do I mean by random survey? Let me give you an example. So suppose I have taken a virgin area, a coastal area I have taken. Okay, a coastal area I have taken, and that coastal area has a length of, or that survey area has a length of, let's say 3 kilometers. It's a huge area. Okay, so that's the survey area, around 3 kilometer into, let's say 400 meters. Okay, so this side is 400 meter, this side is 3 kilometer. So what you should do, see, the discussion I'm doing in this video will not give you the final result, final data. Maybe this data you will be collecting after my suggestion will not be published or will not be used for the publication, but it will help you in the pre-survey planning, or it will help you the survey planning which you will be doing next day onwards. So very first day I am keeping only one day for this pre-survey planning. What you will be doing, you will be surveying the area randomly. Okay, so you will be taking a survey line from, let's say this side is east, this side is west. So from, you will be taking first line from east to west, then after 100 meter you will be taking another line, 100 meter or 50 meter depending on the time you are having, then you will be taking another line. Okay, don't forget to take this line. Okay, so this could be your another line. So first you will be going from west to east, then you will be moving from east to west, and then west to east. You got the idea, right? And few cross section profile also you should take. Let's say you are taking 5 or 6 cross section profiles. So I'm saying the inline profiles. This long one, I'm saying this as a, or mentioning this as a inline profile, and these profiles are, I'm talking about cross line. I'm mentioning this as a cross line profile. Okay, so what we did, and in this case you might use a 200 megahertz antenna or 100 megahertz antenna if you have in continuous mode. So only continuous mode will give you faster survey result. The plus point of any GPR system is that, so what's the plus point of GPR system? It will give you a real-time data. It will give you a real-time data. What do I mean by that? GPR sections you will be seeing. And when you are taking, suppose this is the inline one profile, this is another inline profile, okay. So when you are taking this inline profile, suppose our objective is to understand freshwater seawater interaction zone. Somewhere in that area, somewhere in that 3 kilometer into 400 meter area, there is a zone of freshwater and seawater interaction, and you can identify that zone using GPR. So when you are doing this inline, or when you are doing along this line, along the longest line across the beach, that GPR section will give you some anomalies, which you can see if you are okay, if you are checking the data every time, okay, if you are checking your screen all the time, then you can see that there could be some anomalies, some high amplitude reflection, some nil reflection could be there. So if this is a, suppose this is the freshwater zone, this is the seawater zone, so you will be having reflection from freshwater zone but no reflection from the seawater zone will be there. So this boundary will be appear as a, or this boundary will be appearing as a high amplitude boundary, okay. So GPR anomalies are start. So now that entire area you have found some anomalies, you have found some kind of these signatures. That signatures will be investigated in details from next day onwards. So what you will be doing, this entire area will be divided into several sites locations. So site A, B, C, D, whatever you prefer. So this is site A, this is site B, this is site C and D. So I have divided this region into in this case 4 sites. So now in the next day, which I will discuss in different video, but let me give you a hint. Next day you will be doing a 3D survey, 3D GPR survey of site A, of site B, site C, site D, okay. That would be your first step, and you will be using 200 megahertz or 100 megahertz continuous mode GPR antenna. See, these things are not written in any textbook. You won't find it in any book or any paper. This is whatever I am talking, this is totally from my experience, okay. So some of you might not agree with me also. So this is the first step you should do. Second step would be your CMP survey. What is CMP? It's a common midpoint survey. What do you generally do in CMP? Suppose I am I have a 80 megahertz bistatic antenna, and that 80 megahertz antenna I am keeping, this is the point of observation O. I am keeping that antenna at a separation of 1 meter, okay. As I have used 80 megahertz, so I am keeping the antenna at a separation of 1 meter. So this is your transmitter point, and this is the receiver point. You are sending a so after setting this at a 1 meter separation, you will be sending a pulse, and that pulse will get reflected back to the receiver. So from the transmitter it will be coming down and will be reflected from the receiver. I am showing only one layer boundary. So this is layer 1 and this is layer 2, okay. After that you will be moving away the transmitter and receiver by, let's say, by 50 centimeter. So this is 0.5 centimeter. Now from this or from the previous position, the separation is 0.5 meter, or you have shifted this transmitter at this location. This is the newest location of the transmitter. Similarly, this will be the newest location of the receiver, and if you are sending a pulse, okay, that will be mapped, that boundary will be mapped. By doing so, you can have several transmitter and receiver locations. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At 1 is the one you can see the marked here, that means transmitter receiver at 1, transmitter at 1 position. Later you have shifted the transmitter into the, see here arrow is there, into the position 2, and transmitter into position 2. By doing so, you will be having a offset versus two-way travel time. Two-way travel time, you know that, I'm not explaining that part now. So it will give you an CMP data of like this. By doing the velocity analysis, just like seismic, you can estimate the layer boundary V1, V2, V3. So suppose there is another layer is there, and this velocity is V1, this velocity is V2, radar signal velocity, okay, or EM velocity. So it could be, I'm not drawing it properly, like this. Let's say, more the separation of transmitter receiver you got, more the depth you can image, okay. That is called the CMP method. And now what you will do here, and I will suggest you, when you will start the actual survey, you will be doing CMP in each of the profile or in each of the study area to have the velocity layers, to have the layer information, okay. Now where you should do the CMP survey, that's the entire area, and on the first day you will be doing randomly some CMP survey. Let's say you have taken, it's a time taking procedure, so let's say you have taken 5 CMP points, 5 CMP points in 3 kilometer area, and make sure your CMP points lies on a single profile, on a profile, okay. So that will help you to understand the subsurface layers better. The next point after CMP you will be doing, or next work after CMP you will be doing, is geological sampling. What do you mean by geological sampling? That means along a profile, suppose this is your inland profile, you will be taking several boreholes, or geological boring will be done. Let's say up to 30 feet, okay, up to 30 feet you have done some geological sampling. What this will do, this will help you and make sure that point will be your CMP point, so that you can calibrate your CMP results, so that you can calibrate your GPR results. So this is your GPR profile, let's say this is a profile 1, and these are the boring locations. If you are not allowed to do boring, or if you are not allowed to do so much boring, so you can at least do 1 boring on this profile, 1 or 2, and you will compare the data with CMP and the profile, GPR profile, so that on the next day when you will be doing the GPR survey in details, you will have a subsurface information, okay. Let's say you have done some geological sampling, and that geological sampling will be calibrated with the GPR section, okay. So this GPR boundary, GPR depth will be calibrated using this geological sampling. These 3 things you should do before you start actual survey, okay. And upon returning on the at night, no, okay. Start. So these 3 things you should consider doing when should be considered when you are doing GPR survey, okay. So I have planned that I'll be making a detailed discussion on the GPR principles. That will be my next video. So my next video will be on GPR principles. Please like and subscribe.